Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Sunday, August 30th, 2015, around 4:49 in the afternoon, Billerica, Massachusetts. Mix and sun and clouds today, a little more sticky but tolerable. The humidity is going to creep back up by the middle of the week. Then it's going to be a big heat wave. Some news to report. The MTV Video Music Awards is tonight at 8 p.m. on MTV, hosted by Miley Cyrus. Should be interesting. The New York Mets made a trade today. They acquired reliever Addison Reed from the D-backs for 2 minor leaguers. The New York Mets avoided a 3-game sweep today from the Red Sox by beating them 5-4, despite a home run by Big Papi David Ortiz, 494th home run of his career. He passes Iron Horse Lou Gehrig and the crime dog Fred McGriff on the all-time home run list. Big Papi David Ortiz is only 6 more homers away for the big 5-0-0. And that's about it on the news. My second video blog subject of the day is about one of the most legendary tag teams in professional wrestling history, the British Bulldogs. Davey Boy Smith, the Dynamite Kid. They were a classic tag team, one of the most high-flying, most powerful tag teams of all time. They had a 6-year run in WWE and Stampede and New Japan and All Japan. Actually, the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid are first cousins. Davey Boy Smith's real name was Davey Boy Smith, and the Dynamite Kid's real name was Tom Billington. They actually started a career in their home country of Europe, and they came over to North America in the late 70s because the talent scout for Stampede Wrestling, Bruce Hart, saw the Davey Boy Smith and Tom Billington in Europe, and they were both high flyers, and they said they would make a lot of money in the Stampede Wrestling organization. And the Davey Boy Smith and Tom Billington, who was rechristened the Dynamite Kid, had a long-running feud in Stampede Wrestling in the early 80s. Dynamite Kid was a heel and Davey Boy Smith was a face. It was a long-running feud. Lots of power moves, lots of awesome, unbelievable stuff. The British Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid were under 6 feet tall, and at first they were so skinny and stuff like that, but eventually they powered up because they took PEDs, steroids and stuff like that. And for many years, the Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid had one of the longest running feuds in Stampede Wrestling history. That feud extended over to Japan when they were in an NWA like junior heavyweight title tournament and stuff. New Japan and All Japan, but by 1984, the Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid became a tag team in Stampede Wrestling, and they won the Stampede International Tag Team Championships a couple of times. But Stampede Wrestling folded in the summer of 1984 when it was bought by WWE and stuff. And the British Bulldogs went to Japan. They originally wrestled for New Japan Wrestling, but eventually they went to All Japan Wrestling and stuff, and they were one of the biggest foreign tag teams in All Japan Wrestling history and stuff like that. And they had a lucrative deal with All Japan and stuff, but many of the major wrestling federations in North America were interested in the Bulldogs, including Mid-South Wrestling was interested, but like one of the bookers said that the British Bulldogs wouldn't make too much money. World Class Championship Wrestling passed on them because they would have been the number 2 tag team besides the Von Erichs. The Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling said they had a much more exciting team. The Rock and Roll Express, AWA, said they weren't interested in the British Bulldogs. Eventually, WWE signed the British Bulldogs in early 1985 because they had a lot of wrestlers that came from Stampede, like Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and they put in a good will for the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid. And at first day, we're going to give the British Bulldogs a gimmick of them barking like dogs, like woof 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 woof. But Dynamite Kid was against that, and so they came in, made their debut in like early 1985, and they had some amazing power moves and stuff like that. The finishing maneuver when Davey Boy Smith would pick up a wrestler, give him a power slam, and Dynamite Kid come off the top rope and pin him 1, 2, 3. They had some amazing feuds with the Dream Team, Greg the Hammer Valentine and Bruce the Barber Beefcake, the Hart Foundation, Jim the Anvil Neidhart and Bret the Hitman Hart, and a few other tag teams and stuff. The British Bulldogs' mic skills were awful, so they needed to get a manager, and what manager they got was a manager who specializes in tag teams, Captain Lou Albano. Lou Albano did some of the interviews of the British Bulldogs, which was decent and stuff like that. The British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid, feuded with the Dream Team, Brutus the Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine throughout 1986. At WrestleMania 2, the British Bulldogs with the Captain Lou Albano and Ozzy Osbourne faced Dream Team, Brutus Barber Beefcake and Greg the Hammer Valentine with Luster's Johnny V. And this was one of the best matches on WrestleMania 2. The British Bulldogs won the WWE Tag Team Championship in that match, which was probably their best match ever, and probably the best match at WrestleMania 2. And then the British Bulldogs had a close to 9-month reign of the Tag Team Championship. They feuded with all teams, including Moondogs, Sheik and Volkov, Big John Studd, and King Kong Bundy, the Hart Foundation, and a few other heel tag teams and stuff like that. But the stress of the travel of the British Bulldogs was getting to both members, especially Dynamite Kid, who wrestled a lot with a seriously bad back, and because of he was doing high-flying maneuvers, and he was not really bound to do too many of them because he was very small in stature and stuff, and using the steroids was taking a toll on both British Bulldogs. During a tag team match in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, in December of 1986 for the WWE tag team titles at a house show, the British Bulldogs defended against the team of Cowboy Bob Orton and Don the Magnificent Morocco and stuff, and halfway through, Dynamite Kid's back gave out and stuff, and both Cowboy Bob Orton and Morocco did not know the extent of the injury. The Dynamite Kid had to go to crawl just to tag Davey Boy Smith to finish the match and stuff like that. Afterwards, Dynamite Kid's out like cold. He needs to be taken to a stretcher to the local hospital, and Dynamite Kid misses several weeks of house shows and stuff because basically couldn't walk and stuff. His back was shot, and Davey Boy Smith used substitute tag team partners to defend the WWE tag team titles, but they hid that on television because back then WWE would tape TV matches months in advance. But eventually those tapes ran out, and a new WWE Tag Team Championship tag team needed to be crowned because Davey Boy Smith was not going to be defending the WWE Tag Team Championship with a substitute partner all the time. And there were summons to drop the WWE Tag Team Championships at a WWE Superstars wrestling taping in Tampa, Florida in January of 1987. Originally, the Bulldogs were going to be dropping the belts to the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, but the Hart Foundation, Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart said, drop them to us or we'll quit and stuff. And then the WWE listened to that, and then Dynamite Kid had to get out from basically his hospital bed because he was still out cold. He had to fly to Tampa, Florida, and the WWE had to pick him up in a wheelchair and stuff. He came to the TV tapings. The British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith had to carry Dynamite Kid on his back. And when the tag team championship match happened, Dynamite Kid was attacked by Jimmy Hart and Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, and it was a handicap match between Davey Boy Smith and the Hart Foundation, and referee Danny Davis, who was a heel referee, was always checking on Dynamite Kid all the time, and Davey Boy Smith basically almost won that match, but eventually it was just too much to overcome. The Hart Foundation used double teaming. They used their famous Heart Attack move, and then Danny Davis counted 1, 2, 3, a fast count. This got eventually Danny Davis suspended for life from wrestling. For refereeing, but he became a wrestler and stuff. And then the Dynamite Kid needed a couple of months to recuperate, but afterwards the British Bulldogs were never the same. They were given a pet bulldog as a mascot, Matilda and stuff, which, got a little them over and stuff like that. But like Dynamite Kid was like not the same because he wasn't doing the power moves because his back was out, and Davey Boy Smith was okay doing it. The British Bulldogs never were like title contenders for the WWE Tag Team Championship ever again. They had some good matches with the Hart Foundation, but it wasn't. They didn't regain the belts, and then the British Bulldogs dropped down to make card status and tag teams in the WWE. They had a feud with the Islanders, Haku and Tama, and an addition of WWE Superstars of Wrestling. The Islanders kidnapped Matilda and stuff like that. Originally that was going to be an angle for the New Dream Team for like Dino Bravo and Greg the Hammer Valentine, but Greg the Hammer Valentine hated that angle, so he quit, but he got rehired, but it was given to the Islanders and stuff, and the Bulldogs feuded with the Islanders for a while. Then they became jobber tag teams for the rest of their careers in the WWE, dropping to Demolition, and then the Rougeau brothers and stuff. The Rougeau brothers and like the British Bulldogs had the first match on a SummerSlam pay-per-view 1988, which was pretty good. It was a 20-minute time limit draw. The Bulldogs and the Rougeaus were going to have a long-running feud, but backstage, Dynamite Kid hated Jacques Rougeau because they didn't get along. So many ribs that were, not funny. One time, Jacques Rougeau sucker punched Dynamite Kid after like making some bad remarks. Also, the Rougeaus claimed the British Bulldogs ripped up their bags and stuff as a rib, but I read it was actually ripped up by Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig and stuff. The Bulldogs' last match in WWE ever was at Survivor Series 1988. They won a 10-man tag team elimination match, and they got eliminated. Davey Boy Smith takes the pinfall, and the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid, never wrestled as a tag team for the WWE again. Then the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and Dynamite Kid go back to Stampede Wrestling, which was revived, and Dynamite Kid got the book there. He was the booker. The British Bulldogs won the Stampede Wrestling North American Tag Team Championships a couple of more times, but in early 1989, the British Bulldogs feuded among each other again. Dynamite turned heel, and Dynamite teamed with Johnny Smith, who was the storyline brother of the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, but in real life they weren't even brothers. They were like Johnny Smith and Davey Boy Smith were distant cousins, and Davey Boy Smith got Chris Benoit as his partner and stuff. But these matches were like horrible and stuff. The British Bulldogs were still a tag team in All Japan Wrestling, but they weren't quite the same and stuff. There was heat between Davey Boy Smith and Tom Billington. the Dynamite Kid's real name in the spring of 1990 during an All Japan joint card with the WWE. In the locker room, Vince McMahon said to Dynamite Kid, "Do you want to return to the WWE?" Dynamite Kid says, "When hell freezes over." Then he asked Davey Boy Smith if he wanted to return to the WWE. Davey Boy Smith said sure. Davey Boy Smith was at the time married to Diana Smith, and they just bought a big house in Florida and stuff, and he needed the money for it because Stampede Wrestling went under in like late 1989, and even though the Japan tours were like kind of lucrative for the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith needed the money and stuff. That got Dynamite Kid mad. They said Dynamite Kid and Davey Boy Smith never talked to each other afterwards and stuff like that, and that was the end of the British Bulldogs tag team for good and stuff. Davey Boy Smith had a great career with the WWE as a single star. He won the Intercontinental title. Eventually he won the European Championship. He won the Tag Team Championship with his brother-in-law Owen Hart and stuff. But Davey Boy Smith used a lot of steroids and stuff and PEDs. He broke down a lot with injuries during his late career. He was a zombie when he went to WCW, unpushable and stuff, and he tried to come back to the WWE in late 1999, but he had a serious addiction to painkillers, in and out of rehab. Davey Boy Smith passed away at the age of 39 in May of 2002. Dynamite Kid still wrestled into 1992, but he was basically, crippled. He eventually became poor and stuff, and I heard stories that he did not even have a phone at his house in England and stuff, and he's, he eventually a shell of his former self. He just is so bitter. He just blasts the WWE and stuff. He's basically, I think he lost a leg. And the British Bulldogs were probably the best, one of the best 10 tag teams of all time and stuff. They had high flying moves and amazing power moves and stuff. They were legends, and they had a British Bulldog VHS tape that I used to have from Coliseum Home Video, which was decent and stuff. But there will never be a British Bulldogs DVD and stuff by WWE. And that's about it on the British Bulldogs, Davey Boy Smith and the Dynamite Kid. My third and final video blog of the night tonight will be my personality profile. Tonight's personality profile will be about actress, model, activist for autism awareness, Jenny McCarthy. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy, Molly Rosenblatt, the Fox 35 Rocks, and in the words of Sean Lucha, get out. Bye now.